Oh my god, I'm so excited. Like, I don't even know, like, what to think or, like, what to expect or anything right now. Like, this is gonna be so hyped. This new arc where, like, we finally get to see, like, all the other characters, because now, like, they've all come of age, as the title says. Oh, okay, so we're back here. Remember this? Oh, okay, well, that's sus. Oh, but they opened the door. That's interesting. So there's somebody in a cloak walking around. That's a little sus. Oh, it's Barbie and her shadow. That's interesting. Okay. Oh, I didn't even get to see what that was. I guess it was just a soot thing? Okay, but it's like a little one. What if the person that was like running around made it on purpose to like distract them? Because I had this theory that those little scorch things were like made by the adults, if that makes sense. Like, they weren't like natural, they were like created, so you could make one if you wanted to. So what if the person made it, like the person down the hallway made the stuff to distract them? Oh, see? And now they're gone! What the fuck? So that's interesting. They're trying to bridge with the stuff from the last season. Okay. Damn, I love her. Love her for that. Oh, look at all our babies. It's been so long. Okay, interesting. Oh, look at these two. I love seeing, like, I don't know, like, even the background characters look like main characters, you know? That's something that I love about this show, is they're all just so well designed. Oh, no. Well, that's not good. Damn. Oh, that's cute. She gave it the name. Oh. Oh, that's cute. I like that. Oh, see, they all think that it's Edward, bro. Because, like, okay, so here's the context. I know that they cut a character from the first season. I don't know the context of that character or who that character is, but I'm assuming that they are trying to get us back on track by bringing up the character. Uh-oh, Kate's about to, like, cut a bitch. Damn. Jesus, okay. Aww. Oh, this is sweet. I like this. Oh, wait, so they didn't wait until morning. They called everyone here, like, now at night. Okay. Oh, they're so cute. They're establishing that, like, the Louise and Ricky have not been undone from the spell yet. Ah, I love her. She has such, like, butch energy. Like, I don't know. I love her, like, little poet's blouse and, like, I don't know. I'm just like, look at that, like, what a woman. And she has pants, like, we love that. Ugh, I just love her. Like, I love her and her pants, and, like, I don't know, like, the whole design. There can't be something going on between them, right? Because that would be a little weird if there was. Would it? But, like, I don't know, maybe it wouldn't be. But see, now they get to go outside, and they get to, like, study and, like, look at things. Now we get to go around the house. I love that. Yeah, like, look at this. This is all so great. This is all so cute. Like, there's a music room and a library. Like, this is great. I love it here. Now they can, like, go around and actually do stuff. Like, I think that that's great. Like, we're opening up the world. I don't know. It makes me happy. Damn, come on, Kate. Oh no, see, so they have to improve themselves. I wonder if this is gendered in any way, because like music and dancing are traditionally like feminine stuff. I wonder if the boys do something different. You know what I mean? Just because, like, you know, in a Victorian time period. So I wonder if the boys do something different than like music and stuff. I don't know. Also, Kate is talking about important things. I should probably listen. Oh, see, maybe she can like flirt with John or like pretend to be flirting with John and that can be like the thing. Yeah, okay, see, exactly. See, this is good. I love the looks on their faces. Yeah, see, now as she pretends to, like, be into him, they can all talk, right? Oh. I love this. Oh, this is nice. I ship them. I saw some art of both of them as adult Shadows, like, when Shadows House Season 1 was going, and I just love them so much. See, but now can't they use this to communicate with each other? Damn. Listen, Ricky, I know you have a crush on Emilico, okay? He's jealous. Ooh, okay. She doesn't have a star bearer on, though, like a little clasp. She looks creepy, though. I will say, like, she looks a little sus. Wait, was that everybody but Ricky? Well, that's fucked up. Poor Ricky. He must be going through it, man. Like, he has no power. Like, both of them, right? Like, he has no power. Like, the soot power, he has, like, nothing. You know what I mean? He doesn't get invited to, like, do whatever the fuck this is. Yeah, Patrick. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Poor Patrick and Ricky. That sucks, man. Yeah, look at this guy. He must be so depressed. You know? He has a crush on Emilico and he can't, like, be with her, and, like, you know, he has no powers. Oh, see, that's interesting. So the soot kind of only influences them if they have a thought that departs from the path. That's interesting. Okay, so there's Suzie and Susanna. I need to write all this down. So is this where Barbie was training in the very first episode? Like, this room where she was, like, going ham? Do you guys remember that from season 1? Like, we only saw, like, a glimpse of it, I think. Okay, so that was foreshadowing for this, I'm assuming. Oh, I see. They don't want them to tell each other how to unlock them. They have to, like, do it themselves. Damn, see, they're just using them to trade with the villages, bro! Come on, John, pay attention. I think that you have the strongest power, except for Kate, I guess, but still. I like how he tells Kate to stand back! Yeah! Oh, this was funny. Okay, you go, man. What if it doesn't break? That'd be so funny. Oh, shit. Oh, John. Oh, no. Yeah, you gotta be close, man. Why didn't you just go up to it and punch it, bro? Like, you know what I mean? Oh, okay. Damn. I love this. The humor is on point this episode, too. I like that we're seeing more of Kate this season, like, right now. At least for this episode. Like, you know what I mean? What if she's too good? Like, because I feel like Kate is not a new Shadow. I feel like she infiltrated Shadow's house. We talked about that previously. You know what I mean? So what if she's too good? She seems to actually be having a hard time, though. Oh, John, you distracted her. See, she's pissed. Damn. Oh. Oh, I see. That was slick. Oh my god, that was actually very good. Oh, that was smart. Good job, Kate. Oh, I like that. Okay, that was so smart. This lady scares me, man. I don't like her eyeballs, man. She scares me. Wait, what? Uh-oh. Ah, no! Oh, no! Oh, no! Oh, shit! Shit! I thought Kate was so smart, man! Oh, no! Oh, she did it on purpose, I think, to get rid of her. Maybe Emilico is also smart. Yeah, see, exactly, but was that on purpose? Oh, she's just lucky. I thought she was being strategical. Yeah, where the fuck is Rum, by the way? We know that they're okay, like, so where are at the very end. Oh dear, she's like super controlled. Like, Ricky is getting less and less controlled, but she's like super control, you know what I mean? Oh dear. Bro. Oh no. Maybe it's a fake? Or maybe she wrote it in code or something. What? Oh, maybe she did it as like a test. Okay. So Kate didn't give him a real letter? Oh, damn. Damn, okay, Kate, Uno reverse card. Like, Kate was smart, Kate got caught, but then Kate is smart again. Damn. So it was like a test letter. Oh, well, that's nice. I guess? I don't know. This lady freaks me out still, though. She still scares me. Damn. I guess it's just a rejection letter. Damn, don't read it here or you'll fucking cry. Oh, no. Oh, damn. I guess Barbara has, like, regularly scheduled soot output or something? Like, is she, like, sick? You know what I mean? She just, like, maybe that's what was happening in episode 1. She, like, can't control herself, and so she, you know. Damn, that's interesting. Jesus! She's fucking brutal, man. Yeah, by like insulting her. Jesus Christ. Jesus. But they're like torturing her. Oh my God. How? Is it just through fucking traumatizing her? Or like, is she just born that way? I don't like this. This is freaking me out, man. She sounds like she's in like a lot of pain. Is this a flashback? It seems like it. Maybe to back in the day or earlier that day. Oh, she seems sad. They seem smaller too. I think it is a flashback. Oh, she looked so cute. Oh, she was like Emilico, and now she's a raging bitch. What the fuck happened? All right, everybody, let us get into the discussion now. And the first thing I want to talk about is the introduction, or I guess reintroduction of the character that they cut from season 1 into season 2. And I can only talk about this from an anime-only perspective, so, like, I don't know what the role of this character is or anything about them, but I do know that this is the character that was supposedly cut from season 1, and a lot of people were, like, concerned about that deviation, and so now in season 2, they have reintroduced them, right? And so I really like how they handled the stuff with, like, Edward and everything, like, not just in this scene, but, like, in the scenes later on when they talk about it on the bridge, because I think a lot of people were concerned about that, and I think they probably handled it in the best way possible, where they were like, okay, this thing happened, but, like, it's over, don't worry about it, right? Like, oh yeah, Edward got punished, but he's still, like, you know, the head of the children's wing. Like, they seem to, like, keep it intact, and I feel like that probably will still annoy some people, that there's, I don't want to say a continuity error, but, like, Edward did some shit, and, like, I'm assuming that he's just gonna come back as if, like nothing happened, because obviously he's probably still part of the manga plot in some capacity, or he's gonna come back and it's gonna be kind of weird because we know what he did in season 1. So I think that the way that they did it, it's probably the best way they could have done it, where it's like, he got punished, so hopefully he'll act differently now. Like, they're kind of like covering it up, and I'm like, you know what, bestie, Go for it. Okay. I also liked this scene because I feel like whoever this robed person is, they are definitely making the Scorches, like, as a diversion, because, like, the Scorches just happen to appear there as, like, this person is trying to escape. Like, you can see them brush by Barbie and escape, right? So, like, they're definitely making the Scorches, sis. But I wonder, like, at what point will anybody else figure out if they can do that? You know what I mean? Because I'm assuming that that's not a special power. It's, like, a sort of generalized power, especially, like, with some of the stuff that we theorized that happened in season 1, just some of the things that, like, the adults can do and stuff. So I just wonder, like, those little puppet things, right, that we see when the humans are first kidnapped, like, those are kind of like Scorches, but they're, like, good, right? So I wonder if, like, that's just a thing that the adults can do, but when do people, like, find out that they're able to do that? Those are interesting, but yeah, this was just, like, the conversation, you know, about Edward and sort of, like, brushing what happened with the anime-only Edward stuff, like, under the rug, and so I think, you know, we can just forget about it now. We can just keep going. I think that they handled it pretty well. And apparently this scene is anime only, but I feel like that it's good in terms of, like, Barbie's characterization, because obviously we saw her a little bit, like, in season 1, and we saw, like, she's kind of very harsh, but this is good for, like, for the end credit scene at the very end of the episode, because I'm sort of getting the vibe, and I guess it's fine to talk about this now, but we'll also talk about it later. Like, we see her as very, like, innocent and happy and sweet, so what I'm assuming happened is, like, her hope and dreams got crushed in some capacity, right? Like, she used to be like Emilico, and then something made her not be like that anymore. And so that's very interesting, because maybe that's why she hates Emilico so much, because, like, Emilico is, I guess, what she cannot be anymore, or, like, what she used to be, and she's kind of like, oh yeah, like, one day it'll be snuffed out of you too. Like, she can't deal with the fact that Emilico is so positive because she used to be that way, and it's almost like she can't stand the possibility that, like, Emilico may overcome and continue to have that positive attitude, whereas she has, like, succumbed to, like, being kind of bitter and being kind of a bitch. And so I wonder if, like, that's kind of the vibe that we're gonna go with. I just took a picture of these two because I thought they were so cute. Like, they look like actual characters instead of background characters. That's something I love about this show too, is that all of them look important. But yeah, they basically all get, like, woken up in the middle of the night for this, but we can move on. I don't have too much to say about this scene. I just thought that that was cute, like, the master robe thing, right? Like, in case it was a shadow, I want it to be respectful, right? And so it's like Emilico's considering the possibility, like, that the scary intruder is actually, like, one of the adult shadow people, and so, like, they deserve the title of respect, which I think is kind of funny because she's doing it in an innocent way, but that's also admitting that it's not like a Scorcher a monster. It's like, oh, well, if it's a shadow, right? Like, it's entertaining the possibility that it's one of the adult shadows that are doing it. But yeah, anyway, I just thought that that was interesting, and I just really like this conversation between them. It's, you know, very sweet. Like, I like I was happy that you were waiting up for me. I just thought that that was cute. And then Kate, like, kind of strategizing, like, Barbara's surveillance is gonna grow from now on. Like, this is all bad because we haven't broken the brainwashing. And I kind of like that they did a recap in a very subtle way, because I should have watched things over again, as I said. I'll probably try to do that before next week, but this is a good sort of, like, reminder of, like, who's still brainwashed and who's not. Like, I thought that that was pretty good. I just love these two. I just love how butch she is, how she gives, I'm just gonna say it, okay? She's giving me, like, lesbian energy. And I don't know if that's the intention, but, like, that's what she's giving with, like, the blouse and everything, like that poet's blouse and stuff. She's giving me very butch energy, and so I don't know if that's intentional, but, like, I'm very gay for this character. Like, you know what I mean? But anyway, that's just me. And so I just love her so much. I just love her attitude. It seems like that Louise and Sarah are getting buddy-buddy, so that's kind of interesting, again, considering last season. But I just love, it's Mary Rose, right? And then the human is Rosemary. And so, yeah, I just love them. They're so, like, boisterous and, like, you know, freely moving, I guess. And I love, like, Emilico's face right here, like, at the comment that they get to, like, go around the house and everything, right? And so here's what we see that they're able to do. You have the library, right? And so you see Sarah, and she's reading a book, and Mia is also reading a book. I wonder if they're reading the same book. You know what I mean? There's just copies of every book. It looks like it's the same, so I just thought that that was kind of funny. So we have a library, we have like a botanical garden conservatory thing, we have like instruments, and then we also have like a dance hall, right? And so I'm sort of wondering if these are intentionally supposed to invoke this idea of like, I don't know, like guys, listen, I didn't really study that much history, okay? Like that was not part of my major, but I did watch Bridgerton. I did watch Bridgerton, but like something that you find in a lot of those, like, I don't want to say actually like historical drama, because they're not like based in history. It's sort of like the pseudo historical drama of like what people think life at that time was like, or like very shallow version of what life in that historical time period was like, right? Like Bridgerton and stuff. But like these things do invoke sort of a sense of like, these are like ladies things, right? Like ladies learn how to play the instruments, and you know, like the library's good too, you know. Some knowledge and stuff, a little philosophy in there maybe, I don't know, some poetry, right? You know, a good lady is always reading that poetry, right? So like, that's sort of the vibe that I'm getting, is like, these are all very, like, this is what a high society lady would be doing in this time period vibes, and obviously we don't really know, like, when this is supposed to be set, but like, that's the vibe that I was getting, right? Other than the plants, I mean, the plants, that's whatever, you get to look at the flowers, but like, you guys understand what I mean, in terms of the actual lessons that they take, like music, right? Like, you know, whatever they're reading in the library, poetry, like dancing and stuff. Like those are very like, oh, like the ladies study this, right? So I wonder if the men are studying like different stuff. I don't know if they'll ever like cover that or anything, but I was thinking about that, like whether the boys are studying anything different, especially because they did split off. And that's an interesting question too, if there is any like gender role hierarchy stuff going on, because I can't remember. I don't feel like there was last season, right? You know, like I don't feel like there was anything like that, but I sort of wonder if there is, because like some anime choose to sort of operate in like a gender equal society if it's like a fantasy and stuff. And so like I wonder if it's supposed to be more like that, but like then they split the boys and the girls, and so I'm like, is it supposed to be kind of based in like our society where like the girls do this and the boys do that? Like I don't know. And so that's an interesting question that I had, but you have to write in the like the thingy in the journal about how much time you spend there. So Kate is like, can I just read in my room? She's like trying to be like max like antisocial, and they're like, no, like you have to hang out in here or you will be seen as worthless. So that was interesting, right? And so it's like they have freedom, but like, do they really have freedom? You know what I mean? Like they're freedom under surveillance in a lot of ways, right? And it also seems like there's just a lot of boys, right? Because, like, I don't know, we didn't see these two in, like, the coming of age ceremony, so I guess maybe they're just, like, the equivalent of, like, Mary Rose and Rosemary, and then Sarah and Mia, like, just older boys that are, like, obviously, like, taking them around sort of thing. But yeah, I was sort of wondering about that. I was like, okay, well, what were the boys doing? Like, because they were somewhere else. I wonder if we'll ever find out, like, if their lessons are any different or anything. And so I like this because, like, John and, John and Sean, they look at them, like Kate and Emilico, but then Ricky and Patrick, oh my god, the names, they're all coming back to me. They look away. And I feel like it's because of all this, like, crush situation that's happening, right? And so I'm not gonna go over like all of this. I do like Kate's little like strategy here of like, how do I get a note to him and everything. But I feel like that there's some sort of like love triangle thing, because I feel like that Patrick, the Shadow is in love with Emilico and is somehow jealous of this whole situation, because like if he married Kate, he would get to be with Emilico, I get, like, you know what I mean? And so I feel like that, like, Patrick likes Emilico, John likes Kate, right? And so it's that thing where it's like, even though Ricky, I'm pretty sure, likes Louise, like Lou, and so, you know what I mean? So I feel like that, like, Patrick is jealous somehow, because he's like, well, if I was with Kate, I would get to spend more time with her human, and it's the human that I really like. I think that, like, that's sort of the vibe, like, that's sort of what I'm getting, you know? And so there's a little bit of a kerfuffle right there, where he's like, oh, you know, I'm gonna, like, focus on becoming the best, right? I feel like he's just jealous, in a way. I feel like he's super jealous because he's like, oh, well, if I won over Kate, I would get to spend more time with Emilico, but, like, he hasn't because John is winning over Kate, right? But, like, I do ship John and Kate, though. I saw, like, art of them when they're, like, adult shadows together, and I thought that was cute. I do think that Emilico has something going on with, like, Sean, so I think that that's, like, already a ship, even, like, with the Patrick love triangle. I hope that Patrick and Louise will, like, learn to love each other over time, because I feel like that those are, like, endgame ships, and this love triangle's just kind of, like, you know, whatever. Like, it's just, temporary, if that makes sense. I feel like he is gonna fall for, Lou and Louisa and everything. But yeah, this shadow, this doll, I should say, like, the human is kind of creepy. It's really creepy. Like, her eyes are super creepy. I don't think right there they were creepy, but right there they were definitely creepy. And, like, there's some moments where her eyes are super wide. She's just so scary, right? And just a note about this, I think that this is where the veil gets put on all of them. Like, she's like, oh, yeah, I'm just, like, patting you all, but I'm pretty sure that her soot power is, like, touch related, and that's how, like, she put the veils on them. But I'm like, what would that veil be used for in any other situation? Like, that's the thing I'm having trouble with her power, which we'll talk about in a little bit, but like, you know, other than feeling Kate, like, give John the letter and stuff, like, what would this be used for in, like, I don't know, like, a real life situation, I guess. I also did like this scene of, like, Patrick being all sad, and, like, Ricky, it's interesting because, like, he seems to be sort of withdrawing from the hold of the coffee a little bit, because he is thinking, like, oh, you know, I was ordered not to tell, but maybe I should tell him. Like, if he was fully controlled, he wouldn't have those thoughts in the first place. It's only when he has, like, a thought that goes against what he's been told that the soot kind of reactivates, right? So instead of being under, like, mostly control, like Lou is, it seems like that, like, that Ricky has sort of regained more control of himself, but then, like, if he has a thought that is, like, inherently disobedient, that's when the soot kind of kicks in. Whereas, like, it seems like that Lou is under a more, like, constant sort of control, but, like, I could be wrong about that. Maybe Lou is the same, where it only activates when, like, somebody says something, like, slightly, like, traitorous, I guess, like Emilico, like, talking about, like, what happened to Ram and everything, or whatever, but yeah. Anyway, I'm not sure about all that, but I guess we'll see. But yeah, I like the little lesson scene. I like, how they sort of address this idea that, like, oh, like, the reason why I think that Lord Grandfather doesn't want anybody to know is because he kind of wants to weed out the weak. Like, if you don't awaken your powers by yourself, then you're useless, sort of thing. That's the vibe I'm getting. That's why they can't tell each other. And so I think that that's sort of interesting, right? Is that, like, they don't want to tell the shadows that they even have powers like this or how to awaken their powers because it's the people that do it naturally. Like, I feel like that this is just another test. Like, they've come of age, but I don't feel like that they're even, like, all the way through it yet. Like, I don't even know if there is a spot where they're technically all the way through a trial. I feel like that this is just another test. Maybe when you're an adult, you're kind of semi-safe, but I feel like there's just no safety, and that may be one of the themes of the show. Right? Like, they tried so hard to make it past debut, and they made it past debut, but now they're still fighting for their lives, even after all this time, and they just don't know it yet, you know? And so I wonder if, like, that could be something interesting to tap into, is, like, they think that they've passed. They think that they've passed the debut, but there's actually sort of this secret round where, like, if Patrick never awakens any powers, they'll get rid of him, and that's kind of like the second culling, if that makes sense. And so, yeah, I think that that may be an interesting thing to think about, is, like, you always have to be useful to the Shadows family, so there's never any time to rest, you know? And so I think that that could be interesting, and maybe that's also why Barbie is so jaded, right? Because, like, she probably thought, like, I'm your face now, like, we've made it past debut, we're gonna have this, like, great life together, and now, like, there's just, like, constant suffering still, you know? And so I wonder if that's why Barbie is so jaded, because they can't actually have, like, a nice, like, happy life or something. They're always stressed that if they outlive their usefulness, something's gonna happen to them. Yeah, so I just thought that this scene was funny. Like, he tries to break the wall and it doesn't work, and she uses it as, like, you know, the teaching thing, like, you knew that and you made me do it anyway. Like, the humor was just really on point in this episode. I really liked that. I think it's interesting too, like, Louise can't do anything in here, so I wonder what they're gonna do with her, right? Because, like, she's still useful, because, you know, if she goes to, like, the human world and stuff, she can, like, fuck up some shit, you know what I mean? But, like, if your soot output is connected in some way to your usefulness, I wonder if they, like, split them up into categories eventually. Like, you are useful to send out into the human world and recruit children, and then you are useful just to produce, like, the energy and the soot output, right? Because otherwise, like, Louise would be, like, culled eventually, right? You know, but her power is actually very useful, so yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like that there must be some sort of, like, division eventually, where not everyone has to output energy. It's either you output energy or you focus on helping abduct the kids, basically. But I feel like it's also possible that just because you have one power doesn't mean that that's your only power. Like, it may be, like, unique to you at first, but like the Scorches, right? I feel like anybody could make those. It's just a matter of, like, focusing energy. So maybe Louise could do some special stuff too eventually. Like, I'm sure they all have a specialty power, right? Like how Kate has the levitation and, like, John has, like, the super punch stuff. But, like, who's to say that Kate couldn't also do super punch stuff? We don't really know yet, right? So she starts moving the pen. And see, that's the weird thing, because we see Kate do things that aren't this earlier, right? So I don't think that this is her only magic. I mean, we've talked about this before, but I've sort of had this theory that Kate is not, like, I don't know, she's not actually a child, like, she infiltrated the house somehow and is just sort of, like, pretending, and so that's why she has more powers, because, like, those big wings that she has at the end of season 1, I wouldn't categorize it as this, you know? So I think stuff with Kate may be a little sus, but maybe, again, I'm saying this in terms of, like, but what would save Louise's skin? Maybe that's what it is. It's like, that's not her only power, it's just her primary, but she could, like, let loose her soot in other ways, I guess we'll see. And I like these scenes with, like, these two and him acting, like, all bashful as well. I think that that's, like, really cute. I think that all of this is just really interesting, the little love triangle things that are happening here. And I love how, like, the mind games of all this. So first we think that Kate succeeded in passing the note, right? And I was so excited. I thought that was so hype. And then obviously later, like, we find out that, is it Susanna? Yeah, Susanna actually, like, took it from her, but then we find out that there's nothing actually in it. It's just a letter rejecting John. I'm assuming, though, either one of two things. That was either a test or she wrote it in code, but we'll get to that. So what's weird about this is she doesn't want to seem to, like, let her out of her sight, and, like, again, her eyes are so scary. Like, I just wonder what's going on with this lady, because she, like, freaks me out. She's so scary, right? And so again, you know, we get the pass to him thing, and so I like just the mind games of this. We think Kate won, but then we think, like, she's in actual trouble, but then they open the letter and it's just, like, a love rejection and stuff, you know? And so I thought that was really good how they played this scene. It had a lot of tension, it had, like, a lot of mystery and stuff, and so it's interesting to see, like, if Kate was just sort of testing things, or if there is actually some sort of secret code in the message and she's just expecting Sean to figure it out. I do think that the plate thing was kind of weird right here. Like, I think that that was just sort of random. I'm like, sis, how did you do that? You just dropped all your food, but at least we do get to see, like, the food that they have now instead of just the bread. Like, it seems like they're having, like, egg salad sandwiches or something, or, like, that one has cucumber in it. I love egg salad sandwiches. That's a little random, Calxiyn fact, but anyway, I don't know what the point of this was exactly, for her to, like, drop the plate, but I do think it's funny how she's like, oh, it was lucky, because now I can talk to Lou, because I thought she did it on purpose, but it kind of works for her character to, like, do it by accident. You know? And so I do like this scene with them, that, like, it sort of, takes over Lou right here, that she can't actually talk about Ram because of the soot powers and everything, and so I think that's interesting, because, again, her hold seems to be a lot stronger than Ricky. Like, Ricky had, like, a little soot, but she has, like, a lot of soot, like, in her eyeball, but she recovers very quickly, like, when the conversation isn't something forbidden. So it's almost like a computer, right? It's like, Lou, you do not have the permissions to access this file, but, like, anything else, she can act, like, completely normally normally, you know what I mean? And so it doesn't even seem like she remembers, you know, like she remembers the previous conversation, because she's like, she doesn't understand why Emilico is saying that or reacting that way. So I just find that interesting, that it's almost like, you know, she can act and have regular conversation in all other areas, but when a forbidden topic pops up, it's like 414 error or whatever, 404 error. Anyway, you guys know what I mean. But like, how does it do that? I guess it's just magic, but like, how does it know what's a forbidden topic and what's not? I guess it's magic. I guess that's what it is. But yeah, I just loved how tense this scene was. But, you know, she's not totally out of the woods here. You know what I mean? Like, she's still, like, suspicious of her, right? And so I feel like that's sort of interesting, is that, like, obviously the note that Kate sends, it's not really a big deal. It's just rejecting him, right? But she seems to be, suspicious, like, beyond that, you know? And I think this is interesting, right? Because I'm like, what is that? Like, what could you do with this? I guess you could track people, you know, like she's doing now, but I'm wondering again, like, what would, like, the functional capacity be for this? It makes sense for this scene, right? But, like, what would you use this for, I guess, as an adult, or as, like, a star bearer, or whatever the fuck? Like, in, you know, to serve Lord Grandfather, what would you do with this? Like, is it to keep track of people? Is it something else? Like, I don't know. Right? And so the soot has a sense of touch. And so I guess she put her soot around them so she could, like, feel their movements. I guess that's her, like, special power, right? And so I'm wondering, like, will she use that to, like, you know, track some of the characters to see if they're, like, breaking the rules or up to no good or something. But I do like that Kate, like, tested her. And she's like, oh, I just wanted to learn, you know? Like, I'm sorry, I just wanted to test the Star Bearer's power. And she recovers very quickly, because I feel like she's kind of, like, full of herself. Or she could just be acting, and she could be pretending. It could really be either or, but I thought that was, like, is sort of interesting, that, like, Kate basically bends the knee and is like, oh, star bearers are so impressive. I just wanted to know, like, you know, your powers and your strength and how good you were and stuff, like, you know, and, like, that smooths it over. So it could be she's just genuinely, like, full of herself, or she could be pretending, which I think is interesting. Yeah, and so it seems to be a rejection just from, like, how she's talking about it right here, right? Like, oh, you know, like, how it's something that's meant to be read in your room, right? Like, don't read it here or you'll cry. That's kind of like the vibe that I personally got from her saying that, but I wonder if it could be written in code or something. And then we have a nice callback to the season 1 opening shot, and this is Barbara and Barbie, obviously. And so I just thought that this was crazy, because they talk about that she has this, like, nutty level of soot output. I mean, you actually see that, like, Barbie actually seems concerned about her right here, so we get to see her as something other than angry for, like, 3 seconds. And I like this too, because Louise is like, were we just given orders by a doll? Like, she's so offended. I thought that was so funny. But they say Barbie is special. And I like this too. Like, I just like their relationship, and probably, like, I feel like that we're seeing kind of the beginnings of how much Barbie, like, genuinely cares for Barbara, because that's something that I thought too, even last season, was that Barbara seems very frail to an extent and very weak, right? And that Barbie is very mean, and so they have very, like, contrasted personalities, right? But it seems like that Barbie is kind of being the person that Barbara can't be, in a way, and so I feel like, you know, like, somebody has to be cutthroat or we're gonna be disposed of or something, right? And so I feel like that maybe that's what it is. It's like Barbie cares about Barbara so much that even though Barbara is kind of soft and fragile, she's sort of acting as her face to take care of her, in a way. Right? And so I think that that's very interesting. Like, I think that that dynamic is super interesting, just because it's like she's kind of hardened her heart and, like, became a bitch, I guess you could say, like, became a bitch to, like, make sure that, like, Barbara remains safe. At least that's kind of what I'm guessing. But 60%, that's just insane, right? And so that's why she's, like, the star bearer. That's why she got her position, right? But they do say that it's painful. Like, simply containing it must be painful. So I wonder how, like, or why, like, what is Barbara's power that this is happening? Is she defective or in some way? Is this, like, a result of, like, some sort of weird, like, magical breeding process where, like, shadows weren't supposed to have this much power, and so now it's actually causing her physical pain? Do you guys understand what I mean? Because, like, they're doing something here where they're basically breeding shadows and, like, culling out the weak ones, and then, you know, I guess holding up the strong ones, and I'm assuming getting those strong ones to give their soot to make more of these, like, weird magic children stuff, right? And so if this is like a magical, like, I don't know, like if this is like a magical, I guess, group of people or something, like, I don't know how to explain it. I'm trying to think of like an analogy, like a fantasy group, like say mermaids or something, like mermaids or fairies or whatever. It's like these are like sort of the equivalent to something like that. It's like, you know, it's almost like evolution, I guess. Like you get rid of all of the people with the weak traits and then like the strong ones, like they evolve. I don't know. I'm not a science person either, so like this may not be entirely, but you guys know what I mean. It's like natural selection basically, but they're forcing it. So what if like the breeding that they're doing at Shadow's house is causing Shadows to emit so much soot that it becomes painful, right? Because you basically have something where like you know how they say like, oh, animals are like selected for this like reproductive trait, and this like reproductive trait is highly like sought after or something. Like, I don't know, like big antlers or something. Like you have cases where like the antlers on like the deer and stuff like get so big that they cause problems. You know what I mean? Like for the animal, because they're just so big that like the deer can't like carry them, and it causes like, you know, like problems for it. And so then they start dying. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's a medium range of how big of antlers you can have as a deer. If you have too small antlers, you can't defend yourself. If you have too big antlers, right, that causes pain for the deer. So I'm basically wondering if what they've been doing in Shadow's house has created someone like Barbara, who's insanely powerful, but like fairy, shadow, mermaid people, right? You know what I mean? Like if we're going with this analogy that they're kind of like mythical, right, in some capacity, like mermaid, fairy people weren't supposed to, you know, have this much power or emit so much soot, and so now it's actually becoming physically painful for them, right? And so I wonder if it's basically like Lord Grandfather is sort of running this experiment that goes against like the natural bounds of what nature should allow for a shadow, right? Just like, again, if this was mermaids or if this was fairies, the natural bounds for what a mermaid's power should be or a fairy's power should be. I wonder if that's kind of what it is that it's gone outside the natural bounds of that, and that's why like Barbara is in so much pain. But I guess we'll see. So that's my theory about that. I just love this too because she looks so happy, and she's like such a sunshine child, just like Emilico was. And now like clearly she's not anymore. So obviously something happened, right? And I think that what happened could be a culmination of the things I already discussed, is that like, you know, she realized that they'll never have peace in their life, right? That this is going to be something that happens like every single day, and she resents that. Like, it doesn't matter how hard that they work to be the face. It's like you could be disposed of at any time, you know? And so I feel like that could be it, is that she's jaded because she realized that like, and what a metaphor that is too. I don't know what that's supposed to be a metaphor for, but like think about like, I don't know, society or something. Like you work hard, you get a degree, you get a job, but like the job is highly stressful and you never get a day to relax because every day that you try to like take for yourself, you become disposable to that company and they get rid of you. Like I truly wonder like what the manga is supposed to be kind of like a metaphor for or analogy for. Like you have stuff like Beastars, which people have sort of theorized is like the herbivores are supposed to be a metaphor for women and the carnivores are supposed to be a metaphor for men, even though there are female carnivores and male herbivores and stuff, right? You know, people have theorized that it's kind of like based, or like there's an allegorical basis in that. And so I wonder like if Shadow's house is supposed to be like some sort of capitalism, I don't know, capitalism metaphor, I guess. Like you train the children to be exactly what you want them to be, and then all the weak ones are like, you know, called out, I guess, kind of like Ram is, right? And I don't know, it could be interesting. I feel like that we could get an interesting metaphor with Barbie and Barbara, but yeah, that's sort of what I'm thinking, is like there's that, and there's also just kind of like, I don't know, like the gene manipulation of Shadow's house, where maybe like because they have been culling all of the shadows and only like taking the strongest ones, it's basically making like super strong like shadow children, but like in pursuit of that strongness, the soot output is so much that it's actually painful for them, but Lord Grandfather probably doesn't care, you know? right? So I think that that's sort of two interesting things. You have like the metaphorical side of it, right? Like that they could be disposed of at any moment and that's why they're jaded, but then also like I guess the in-universe thing of like Lord Grandfather sort of forcing all of the strongest shadows to like reproduce with each other and make all these shadow babies, and then the shadow babies are like super powerful, but at the cost that is causing them like physical pain to themselves. I don't know. I think that all of that may be interesting. So I think that that's all for me for today, you guys. I know that we skipped past some like conversations and stuff, but I am trying to keep these a little bit more succinct. I did really enjoy this episode. Like the humor was on point. It was a great reintroduction, and I'm super curious about like all the Barbie Barbara stuff now. So I hope that you guys enjoyed. Thank you for attending Calxiyn's Royal Court today, and we will see you in the next one. Bye!